We chant the Gayatri Mantra in words of this. Om Shamno Devi Rahishaya Apo Bhavantu Pitaye Shamyo Rahishravantu Naha Om Shamno Devi Rahishaya Apo Bhavantu Pitaye Shamyo Rahishravantu Naha Om Shamno Devi Rahishaya Apo Bhavantu Pitaye Shamyo Rahishravantu Naha Om Vak Vak Om Pranaha Pranaha Om Chakshuh Chakshuh Om Shrotam Shrotam Om Nabhi Om Hridayam Om Kantha Om Shiraha Om Bahubhyam Yashodhanam Om Karatala Karprishte Om Bhupanatu Shirasi Om Bhuva Punatu Netrayoh Om Swaha Punatu Kante Om Maha Punatu Hridaya Om Jana Punatu Nabhyam Om Tapa Punatu Padayo Om Satyam Punatu Punashirasi Om Brahma Punatu Sarvatra Om Bhu Om Bhuva Om Swaha Om Maha Om Janaha Om Tapaha Om Satyam Om Ritancha Satyancha Vidha Tapaso Adhyayaka Tato Ratrayayaka Tato Samudro Arnavaha Om Samudra Arnavadahi Samvatsaro Ajayata Ahoratrani Vividhad Vishwasya Nishato Vashi Om Surya Chandrama Saudhata Yatha Purvam Kalpayat Divam Cha Prithvim Cha Antarikshamato Swaha Om.
To welcome each and every one of you for this and gracing this very memorable occasion to honor two great souls. I'll now hand you over to our General Secretary. He'll take the program over from here.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Judge. I know that
I don't need any introduction, but for those who are here for the first time, my name is Kapil. I'm acting in the capacity as General Secretary of the Samaj. Today's program, as you will have noticed, is very well planned, and we are observing Gandhi Jayanti, Swami Virjanand Diwas, and we're paying a special memorial service for the late Pandit Persaud ji. So, begin this session of this part of our program. On behalf of the Samaj, I'd like to join with भाई सुबिक आर्य समाज की तरफ से मैं आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूँ. We would like to welcome you on behalf of the Samaj and do hope that we have an entertaining service. We are going to make a few adjustments on the program. Since it's a planned program, we will not like to make any major changes. So do bear with me if you see any adjustment on the program. We'll begin with a bhajan, Hai Mere Watan Ki, a very patriotic song. And for those of us who know that Mahatma Gandhi was very patriotic, so Bhajan Savika will lead us with this bhajan. Listen to the melodious voice of Bahin Sadiqa leading us in Hai Me Watan Ki. She was accompanied on the tabla by her son Sanjay and by Vishnu Mangru on the harmonium. I'll now take this opportunity in asking Nehru Persaud ji to give us today's Udesh in reference to the word of Mahatma Gandhi ji. Nehru Persaud ji.
Om Sahana सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Who is that great soul who once said to his supporters, "Look at me, I am only 97 pounds. But it would take the whole of the British Army to drag me across, to make me crawl on my belly, because I am not a snake. But look at you, you Punjabis, big, hefty warriors. You are known to be great warriors of your day. You have never failed your nation. But I, a man of only 97 pounds, they can drag me across this bridge, but make me crawl never. This law that the British has made has to be broken today. It has to be broken today. And if they want to shoot, let them shoot me. I am going to be at the head of this crowd. And I ask you to follow me. And I tell you, my friends, when this happened, there were thousands and thousands of people. They walked over that place. And when the British saw this, they could not have shot anybody. They were left dumbfounded. They did not know what to do. Are they going to shoot thousands and thousands and thousands of people? And that very day, that law was broken. This thing was done in such a time when the sun never set on the British Empire. Never, ever. When it was said that rule Britannia, Britannia rule the waves. Britain was one of the greatest country, most powerful country of this world. But this man, whose weapon was truth and non-violence, he said God is with him. And once God is with you, nobody can go against you. Now, who was that giant among men, who when he was invited to the Round Table Conference in 1930 in England, Churchill said that we cannot allow this half-naked fakir to enter the Buckingham Palace, because Gandhiji had one piece of cloth. And with that piece he tied his dhoti and he covered his skin with it. But they knew, King George V knew, that without this half-naked fakir, there would have been no conference at all. So what did King George say? King George said that I have invited him. He is my special guest. And so the half-naked fakir had to be allowed to go and attend this conference. Who was that lion among men? Who was that lion among men? When he barked, when he talked with 400 million voices behind him. I do not think in the past there was anybody who had so much power. Because he spoke with 400 million voices, and he spoke with the power of God, he spoke with truth again behind him, nobody could stop him. It is said that सच्चाई छिप नहीं सकती जुर्अत की उसूलों से, सुगंधित आ नहीं सकता कभी कागज की फूलों से. Truth is something you can't hide, my friend. Whether how much force, how much power, how much whatever you have to put and squeeze it down, it will burst like a tank, a war tank, and come through. Burst all the obstacles and come through. So you cannot stop truth. Truth is never ever has been stopped by anyone. When he was going to England, when he was going to England to become a barrister, his mother told him, he said, I cannot allow you to go, I cannot let you go. He said, why, mother, why? Why is it that you can't let me go? He said that anything that you said, I never disobeyed your words or your orders. He said, his mother told him that, look, you give me 3 vows, make 3 oaths to me that you would do these things, you would abide with these things, and then I would allow you to go. He said, yes, mommy, what is it, Mataji? He said, do not, when you go to England, do not take any liquor, do not partake of intoxicating drinks. He said, yes, mother, I promise. Number 2 is do not partake of flesh. He said, yes, mother, I do. He said, and listen, the 3rd is that do not attend these Saturday night parties. You know, you go to parties and you dance and you what have you. He said, do not go to these parties. He said, yes, I do. Then the mother put her hand on his head. He said, my dear son, I bless you. May God keep you well and take you safely and bring you back home. So you see, he was an obedient son to his father. My friends, once there is a sun, once there is a moon, once there are the stars in the sky, India will always be indebted to 2 great men. One is Swami Dayanand, who brought spiritual freedom to India, who took out the people from bondage, from slavery, from ignorance. And the other is the great MKG, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, in whose memory, in whose birthday we are here gathered today. It is said in the Gita that Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya cha Dushkritam Dharma Sansthapanarthaye Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. For the protection and establishment of truth, righteousness and freedom, and for the destruction of the evil ones, for the destruction of injustice, for the destruction of tyranny, great men are born from age to age. The last words of Mahatma Gandhi, Marna bhala hai uska jo apne liye jiye, जीता है वो जो मर गया इंसान के लिए. It is better that he should die who live for himself, but he is always alive who has given his life for the betterment of humanity. This is my little talk to you. I don't want to bore you. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much, Panditji. I'm sure you will agree with me that to sum up a part of Mahatma Gandhi's life in such a short and sweet way, Panditji was able to do a very excellent job this morning. Because traditionally we are accustomed to hearing the entire life from birth to death of Mahatma Gandhi. What Panditji did was to take a few important and significant happenings of Mahatma's life and share with us here this morning. We now listen to a bhajan led by my soul, Duniya Walo Dev Dayanand. He's paying tribute to Guru Virjanand. It's on page 53 in the Atmagit, and he's saying, O men of the world, Dayanand came to show us light. People had forgotten the path on which to tread, and the Maharishi came to beam the light of the veil so we can select those paths again. By Vishnu Verma.
दुनिया वालों देव दयानंद दीप जलाने आया था दुनिया वालों देव दयानंद दीप जलाने आया था बोल चुकी वो
जब तक जग में चार दिशाएं, as long as there shall be four cardinal points and the beautiful sights of nature shall continue to exist, so long shall the name of the Maharishi continue to inspire all humankind. I'd like to take this opportunity now in asking our senior priest, Arya Samaj to address us on Swami Virjanand Diwas.
Vice Chairperson, Reverend Pandit, devotees all. Kindly join me in prayer. Om Agni Mili Purohitam Yajasya Umrit Vijam Bhutaram Nadhatanam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Devotees all, there is a famous English quotation which goes thus: lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime. And in every country in this world, from time to time, great men do come up in order to uplift the masses. However, what is those greatest? One might be righteousness, and the other can be unrighteousness, where the masses are led into war. However, this morning, it is my task to say a few words on a great personality, and that is Swami Virjanand ji. He is very little known to many of us. However, from whatever material I am able to collect, I would like to put in front of you some of his ideals. Swami Virjanand ji was born in 1769, and through misfortune he had suffered the smallpox disease, and thus he became blind at the age of 5, very young and tender age. Eventually, what followed again was the death of his parents, and he was left in the care of his relatives, that is his brother and his Bauchi. Being blind at a tender age, he has developed the sixth sense, and he had a very open mind, very curious to learn, and as such they were not able to answer his questions and also to give him the affection that is needed by him at such a tender age. Eventually he fled the home and he went to Rishikesh. Rishikesh is one of the places in India that is known for righteous learning. It is at the foot of the Himalayas. And here he sat under the feet of Swami Purnanandaji, and Swami Purnanandaji taught him. The first lesson was that he should learn Sanskrit Vyakaran, or Sanskrit grammar. Having been taught Sanskrit grammar and all that followed, he left and he went on his own. He went to various parts of India preaching the Vedas, and there he came to these Maharajas that were then the ruler of India. He went to them and talked with them that India should go back to the Vedas, that the Vedas was the only righteous teachings that can bring India back from the hands of the British to freedom. Unfortunately, he did not succeed. However, he had two cravings in him, two cravings that he would wish to see succeed. And one was to dispel ignorance and fraud arising from the circulation of Arya sage not written by books. And Arya means sage, holy men who would go and they will do the little tapasya and they will read a little on the surface and they will come up with ideas. And how they perceive it, they will take this back to the people. And in many cases, what happened, they give the negative meanings rather than the positive. This is something he had seen, and this was one of the things that he had wanted to eradicate from the minds of the people. The second, which I mentioned earlier, that after the national rising in 1857, he tried his utmost to get all the kings that were ruling them to come together under the banner of the Vedas, so that the people with one voice can rise and to try and to fight for the freedom of their country. Unfortunately, he did not succeed, and this was realized 80 years after his death, which was given by the last speaker. Swami Virjanand had lived a very full life. Although he was blind, he was very active. He went about throughout the length and breadth of India preaching and teaching the knowledge of the Vedas. And he passed away in the year 1868. That is, he lived a full life of 99 years. Unfortunately, he didn't see a century. However, he had one great student. And as we know, in Hindu history, if you speak on the Gita, you cannot mention the word Arjuna without mentioning the word Krishna. If you read on the Ramayana, you cannot mention the word Lord Rama without Mata Sita and those other characters that were associated with him. And it has reached a stage that you cannot mention the word Swami, the name Swami Virjananda, without having to mention Maharishi Swami Dayananda. There is an English poem, and I would read that line to you. It goes thus: full many a flower is born to blush unseen and wave its sweetness in the desert air. Had it not been for Swami Dayananda, we would not have known of Swami Virjananda. When he died in 1868, Swami Dayananda said, at his death, Swami Dayananda said, the sun of Sanskrit grammar has set. But we know that for every sun that sets, it must rise the next morning. And from time to time, in our very lives, we have seen the birth of the Arya Samaj movement, and in each and every one of us who embrace the Vedas, that is a light. And that light shall continue to shine. It shall never go out. The only way that light can go out is if the light within us go out. And that light can only continue to shine if the little that we know, make sure that we know it properly, and we take the pain and the effort and to pass it on into others. So that light will continue to shine and it will never go out. With this little talk this morning, I want to thank you all very much, and I will stay.
Thank you very much, Pandit Saranji. Although I will agree with you that not many of us know much about Pandit Virjanand, Swami Virjanand ji, sorry. Evidently, we can learn by looking at the life and teachings of Swami Dayanand because Swami Dayanand got his inspirational knowledge from Swami Virjanand. I'll now take this opportunity and ask Ustad Samaruji to render us an bhajan. Ustad Samaruji is a traditional classical singer from Kanji, Borbis. We're very pleased to have you with us here this morning, Ustad. And thank you once again for being here and looking forward for your rendition.
हाथ जोड़ कर विनती करता मैं बालक नादान मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचा रे भगवान हाथ जोड़ कर विनती करता मैं बालक नादान मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचा रे भगवान हाथ जोड़ कर विनती करता मैं बालक नादान मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचाने भगवान जिसने सहारा के तब हारा तेरा सहारा था जिंदगी जलाए जग में तू ही सूरज वाला था जिसने सहारा के तब हारा तेरा सहारा था जिंदगी जलाए जग में तू ही सूरज वाला था गुरुमुख तू कैसे के गुरुमुख तू कैसे के इस नंदी मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचाने भगवान हाथ जोड़ कर विनती करता मैं बालक नादान मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचाने भगवान हाथ जोड़ कर विनती भक्त झुके तुझको पुकारे तूने दिया सहारा जब प्रहलाद विपत्ति पर आए तूने सनक सहारा था भक्त झुके तुझको पुकारे तूने दिया सहारा जब प्रहलाद विपत्ति पर आए तूने सनक सहारा था आज मेरी भारी है भगवान आज मेरी है भारी है भगवान करो गया मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचाने भगवान हाथ जोड़ कर विनती करता मैं बालक नादान मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचाने भगवान मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचाने भगवान मैं आया तेरे द्वारे बचाने भगवान
A disciple of his who has grown and been molded by Pandit Sam Persaud ji, and that's no other than Pandit Jagdev Persaud. Pandit ji.
Please let us join together in chanting two of this Dhamsut. Om Bhayanan Bhayam Bhikshanam Bhikshanam. Om Bhayanan Bhayam Visharam Visharadam Gati Vaninam Pavanam Pavananam Mahose Prananam Nirantri Tvamekam Parisham Param Rakshanam Rakshananam Om Tvameva Matrasya Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuja Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Most Reverend Panditji, Master of Ceremony, Bhayo or Baheno or Bhakt Sajjano, I am here in your midst and I am put in a position where to bring to you the light of our beloved Panditji, Pandit Chandra Shyama Persaud. But before doing so, what I had in mind to say that is so relevant and have the same similarities of that of Panditji, who is Prem Persaud, brother Persaud, who presented to me the eulogy of Pandit Shyama Persaud. This was from Guyana, and it was sent to his brother here, and I will read it to you. During the 17th century, the English poet John Donne remarked, "Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind." Those words are irrelevant today as they were when they were first uttered. And your presence today bears ample testimony to that fact that we are indeed diminished and have chosen to be here in order to say the traditional farewell to the distinguished and well-beloved gentleman, a gentleman in the trusty sense of the word, Pandit Chandra Shyama Persaud. He was the son of the late Pandit Lakshman Persaud, a founder of the Arya Samaj movement in this country, namely Guyana. Pandit Shyama was born at Buxton, East Coast, Damara on the 6th day of November 1914. He received his early education at St. Augustine Anglican School and later St. Anthony's Roman Catholic School. He started to practice as a pandit at an early age and soon became a well-known throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, as well as in Suriname and the West Indies. Later, he became a well-known as a pandit also in Europe, Canada, and the United States of America. As you all know, he was a very well-versed in Hindi and Sanskrit, and was an authority on the Vedas, the Shastras, the Purans, and all the glorious books that we have. He was a student of comparative religion also, and was well versed in the Quran and the Holy Bible. In 1950, Pandit Lakshman was returning to India. He was born in Kashmir and was Kashmiri Brahmins. Pardon me? Someone? Oh. As of the caste of the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Sama was accompanying his father to India. But as fate would have it, father died aboard his ship, and was buried at the sea. Pandit Sama continued onwards to India, and spent nearly 2 years there. While in India, he pursued further training as a Pandit. He was the first Guyanese to edit and print a prayer book for the Arya Samaj. He worked as a domestic in the office of the Prime Minister Pandit Nehru and was personally acquainted with him and members of his household, including members of the Indian cabinet. He spent about 2 years in India and then returned home and joined in the political struggle for independence of the then British Guyana. He was elected a member of parliament and later became members of the Senate. If I indulge in personal reminiscences, you will forgive me. For me, this is the death in the family. Pandit Sama was always known to us as Chacha Sam. He performed the marriage ceremonies of myself and 6 brothers of my only sister in July 1974. He had just performed the marriage ceremony of my youngest brother, Virjanand, at Burma. My Koni, at the conclusion, he had a sigh of relief and declared, "My work is complete. I am glad I lived to do this wedding." That was the 8th wedding he did in that family. But not only that, when my father, Pandit Nanhu Persaud, got married, and that was that many years before, the Pandit Sama was the Saibala of Pandit Nanhu. He was one of the moving figure in the establishment of the Arya Samaj in Triumph Village, and was possessed of the serenity to ignore the stunt and the threats of physical violence in pursuit of his objectives. A remarkable feature of this good man was his humility and tolerance that he had. He would engage, and it is in discussion, and he unruffled, and he would in good honor conduct the unfathomable. He was by no means a religious fanatic or bigot. Indeed, he attended local press conference in the early 1960s as a representative of the Rationalist Press Association, of which Professor Barnett Russell, the renowned agnostic philosopher, was leading a member. My dear brothers and sisters, I have here 5 pages, which I wish not to bore out your time so much. What I wish to say to Bhai Persaud, who presented this eulogy to me, and he would have glad, will be very happy to read it himself. But because of the program is so arranged, already he cannot do nothing with the program, and Bhai Kapil said, "Pandit, this is your duty." And I have read it to him. So, to think much of Panditji's life, I was a very, very close associate to Panditji. And I must emphatically say this to you too, like how it has been stated in the eulogy there, that on my 50th birthday, Panditji did not even acquaint me that, "Look, Panditji, you must become a Vedic priest." But on that day, particular day, I don't think it's a day that I can never forget in my whole life. And he announced that I must become a Vedic priest. And from then on, for many good years, I am associated with him, going out to do havans. And I have learned so much from him that it gave me personal contentment, personal satisfaction as to that at what Swami Virjanand had done to that of Maharishi Dayanand. I heard it with Panditji's how they give the life of Swami Virjanand, but one thing I wish to bring to light, that if we are to take the 4 Vedas and to put it on the scale, and to put Virjanand, Swami Virjanand on one side of the scale, you will find that the 4 Vedas is heavier than that of Swami Virjanand. But he was the knower of the Vedas. Take Pandit Shyama Prasad, who is my guru also, and perhaps if we take the 4 Vedas and put it one side, and put Pandit Shyama Prasad one side, it is true to say that the 4 Vedas were heavier than that of Pandit Shyama Prasad, not because of the profound revelation that is there, but Pandit Shyama Prasad was the knower of the 4 Vedas too. So in short, I say this, that wherever the soul of Pandit Shyama Prasad may be, I wish that his soul may find peace and a resting place. There is a powerful poem here which I wish to conclude. I just remember it. And this will bring the conclusion. Thy soul was like a star in the heaven, and dwelt apart. Thou hadst a voice whose sound was like the sea, pure as the naked heavens, majestic free. So didst thou travel a life common way, the cheerful godliness, and yet the heart, the lowest of the duties, on herself did lay. Farewell to Chacha Shyam Prasad, and may his soul find a resting place eternal, and that perfect tranquility which was the common tone of your earthly existence in this world. May his soul find peace and tranquility.
Thank you very much, Panditji. Once again, I think you did a very great job in presenting a long story in such a precise form. We now listen as a tribute to Pandit Shyam Prasad Ji to a bhajan to be led by Bhajan Chandra, Chora Chale, page 32 in the Atma Geet. Today, a hero has relinquished his throne. What an unforgettable lesson in non-attachment and duty from none other than Pandit Samuji. His life was a personification of all the sacred precepts and codes, and he proved himself a noble person. I now take this opportunity and ask Pandit Rambarose Ji, a student of Pandit Samji, to address us and making a comparison of the lives of these noble souls that we have talked about today. Pandit Rambarose Ji.
Om Sangastavam Sambhadavam Sambho Manasi Janatam Devo Bhagyam Yata Purve Sanjanana Upasate Om Tvameva Matasya Pita Tvameva Tvameva bandhusya sakha Tvameva Tvameva vidya dravinam Tvameva Tvameva sarvam deva deva. भाइयों और बहनों, today in dealing with this topic, a comparison of the lives of noble souls, I think about a verse which says that sleep is sweet, but death is better. And never to be born is best. In reviewing the lives of these great Mahatmas, two of them I've been able to read about the facts of their lives. But one of them I have felt, I have touched, and I have entered into his being. And these are the three Mahatmas I'm going to talk, and the similarities. But there is a pole of difference between these three. Swami Virjanand, despite his infirmity, he showed to the world that knowledge is power. And it doesn't matter you cannot see, or you may have some physical defects, you should always search for knowledge. And he was a seeker of knowledge. And it is knowledge that can liberate one. Because it is only truth alone that can liberate. And in those days of Swami Virjanand, the Parni grammar was lost. And he knew the Ashtadhyayi in those days. They had very few people who knew Ashtadhyayi. And that was the grammar that was needed to interpret the Veda. And he had many followers. So you find that in the life of Virjanand, he thought that Vidya Dan is the highest Dan, or giving of knowledge. And he didn't take any fees from Swamiji when he gave that knowledge. We find in the life of Mahatma Gandhi too, that he felt that the masses of India should be educated, men and women. And education played a supreme part in his life. Also, Pandit Swami Persaud ji, he believed in disseminating true knowledge. For 20 years, I sat at the feet of this Yogeshwar. He's no ordinary person. He was a supreme Christian himself in human form. And his glories are immeasurable. He was a master of the 8 limbs of yoga. He was Yogeshwar, all moving and unmoving things were in him. Mothers, fathers, Yad, Tirat, India, all the worlds. And yet, he was walking along like an ordinary person whom we see and meet. But in a spiritual nature, he was always established in the self. And today, as you sit here, he's very much alive in the astral realm. He had broken the bonds of flesh and the 5 elements of mind. He was Christian. If you study his life and Leela all around, he was no ordinary person. And to my mind, he was greater than even Gandhi and Virjanand, because he was above the 4 Vedas. He was a real master. He was a Karma Yogi, he was a Jnana Yogi, and he acted out life as it is. It is not easy to get him back again. He will choose his time when he wants to come back. But there are some fundamentals between the 3 great men in what they believed in. Number 1 is brahmacharya. And Panditji was greater than Gandhi because since his birth, he was a brahmacharya, never got married. Gandhi also believed in brahmacharya. You also see Virjanand, he believed in brahmacharya also. In terms of selfless service, Gandhi started selfless service at a later age. But Panditji, since he was a boy, he used to be selfless in all his activities. Even when he goes to farm, he brings a fruit. He brings the best for others. Even in his house, all the best food we eat, all of us who go there, and he eats a very little of something, a little stale dal inside the fridge. He takes it out and scrambles it and eats it. But he buys the most expensive foods, and barrels of foods, and he only eats a little bit. Everybody once a day, so much. And yet we enjoy it. So what a selfless worker. He was selfless and he was also fearless. He didn't know fear at all, just like Mahatma Gandhi. He never bowed to anyone. He never begged anyone. And he was a champion of freedom. He believed in freedom of speech. And you will notice his disciples. I know about hundreds of Pandits, 100 of Drishtants and all these. And he had a charming personality of love. He could have attracted people. Many great men were attracted by his, including the Duke of Edinburgh, the Nizam of Hyderabad. Many of the governors that he used to go around with them. And they wanted him. There is something in him, because he was no ordinary person. He was a Yogeshwar. And we find, like Gandhi ji also, for Panditji, even at the last moments of his death, he didn't want anything. He was thinking about the girls. If you think about Kanta here, the amount of things that Panditji has done for so many people that he has touched, in some little way, he has influenced the lives of all, so he could not be an ordinary person. And I know it by heart, he's alive even today. And those of you, when you do dhyan and you go there, you will get assistance from him. Because he's always there, Krishna Kandhaya. He danced in the Jamuna. And we, the people with two eyes, didn't understand him. They don't see him. We only see him as Sam, as uncle, as the other person, as a friend, as a politician. But no one ever saw him as the Supreme Purush. The ancient teacher, the first teacher, it was him. You can be assured of it. So Gandhiji, Panditji practiced all the teachings of Gandhiji. In fact, there were a lot of plays where he used to imitate Gandhi. He used to mind a goat like Gandhi around. He used to be with ordinary clothes. And everything that Gandhi did nearly, he used to have the charkha spinning. When he used to have the play, he knew how to do that. And he lived a very simple life. Sada Jivan Uch Vichar. And his highest message was achut, outcast. He wanted all the boys to be pandits. And I know he elevated some even beyond the Brahminical class. He ushered them into the self. So, in dedicating, in making a comparison of the lives of these people, there's some similarity in that they were all selfless, they were all nonviolent, they were all fearless, they all had the belief that knowledge is power, they all saw the self in all, and they didn't care about their body. Panditji never cared about his body. Even when he was dying bed, he was telling me something. He said, asked me, he said, when I saw you first, I know there was something in you. And he was in his dying bed. He said, what is it? He said, what have you learned? What new knowledge have you learned? And I tell him, well, sick now, how? We can't talk. You know, I didn't want to say anything. He said, tell me. So I tell him, look, I've learned a new knowledge. I said the love of a cow, when the cow is filled with milk and it's full of love, automatically the teats give the milk. As soon as they touch it, the calf, they get the milk. But I told him that if the cow is there and you try to rough the teats, you wouldn't get the milk. And he laughed. And this is the first person I kissed his feet. And in the end, he took my head and he blessed me. And these were the last words he told me. Tell me that, bros, do not give up religion. These were the last words that I heard from him. And from tears came out of my eyes. That time I couldn't see him. I know he was going. Tell me going. And I know he was going. But even today, devotees, he's no ordinary. He's alive, very much alive. Mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, yet, tirat, all these things are only his lila. It was poured in this in the being of this great incarnation. Krishna Chand Bhagwan walked with us. He lived with us. He talked with us. He made joke with us, and we didn't know him. But he has taken his exit. He's still alive. And he's laughing at the moment now. Although we don't remember. We remember the flute only. The flute is his body. And if his flute was so charming, his body, but when the breath was it, the flute was very charming. And everybody loved the flute. So what good tune came out from the flute. Today the flute has gone also. But he's alive. And he's in the hearts of all of us. And he's ever waiting on the other side to receive his sincere disciples and to guide them into the path of Satchitana. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Pandit Ramrose ji. If anything could have been put in a more better form, I'm still awaiting to see that individual who will do it, such as Pandit Ramrose has done for us just now. And looking here at this little documentary prepared, if you look at the inside back, you find one of Pandit's statement that he wrote a family and he advised them that gold has to go through fire and hammer before becoming brilliant and lustrous. So we have to go through sufferings before we enjoy life. We have 3 short items more before we bring this program to an end. I would like you to very much appreciate or indulge in whatever we have to do so far, because everything is going all right. I'm not going to exercise our authority and keep it too long, but befitting as it is, I do not feel that we can complete our program today if we do not hear from someone who I claim also has grown up with Panditji from 2 generations. Me, his grandfather, and perhaps his grandfather's father. I would like to ask Baiwa that in 3 minutes if he can share a few words with us. I know he's indicated that he was all right. I was hoping you would have speak on behalf of Pandit Samaji and say thanks to all of us for what we have done so far. I'll now take this opportunity in asking our sister Bahin Sham Kumarji to bring us update with news, our news update. In the meantime, there's a book at the back. Before you leave today, I would appreciate if those of us present here can sign it so that we can know that you were here. And those of you who would like to be on our mailing list, please put your name and address.
Namaste. Our news today is, we invite you to join us in celebrating the following upcoming events. Diwali Motorcade on Saturday night, October 24th. Come and enjoy a floating extravaganza of lights through the avenues of Richmond Hill, jointly sponsored by Arya Samaj USA and the Indo-Caribbean Federation. For information, contact Pai Kapil Bisulial. His number is 204-671-7180 area code. By Vishnu Mangru, 641-7753, 718 area code. Mahashai Munilal Subik, 835-9321, 718 area code. And Diwali service will be at our mandir here on Sunday evening, October 25th, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And Mahalakshmi Dutt invites all members and friends to join with them in the Havan services next week, October 11th, at this mandir. I would like to remind you that we have services here every Sunday from 9:30 to 11:30. Please be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bahin Sham Kumarji. That's for the news update. And I'll now take this opportunity in asking our Assistant Treasurer, Bhai Prabhiman Sadhu, to move the vote of thanks for today, after which we'll all join and sing the Aarti. After which we have a little refreshment to all.
MC, Pandits, parents, daughters, and sisters, and children, I ask all of you to join me in a prayer. Om Stuta Maya Vardadi Jamata Prachodayantam Pavamani Dvijanam Ayurvanam Prajapashun Kirti Pravinam Brahmavachasam Mahiyam Vitva Brajata Brahmhusam. I pray to the Almighty God that He take the soul of Kalsama to Brahmalokam. Today my job is a very easy one, to move the vote of thanks. And I don't want to say thanks to all of you, but I would like to highlight some of the main things. First of all, I wish to extend thanks to the persons who have coordinated this program, to the main persons who are Bhai Kapil, his Dharmapatni Bahin Vimla, Mahashya Sudeka, or Vice President, Srimati Padma and her husband, and all the other members who, from the time they have been asked by Bhai Kapil to give their little contribution in whatever way they could have afforded. I wish to extend special thanks to those persons who have given the up-to-date and their best knowledge of the the various topics. For instance, Pandit Persaud on Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Radha Sarandasai on Swami Virjanand, Pandit Jagdev Prasad on Pandit Sama Prasad, and the Pandit Rambarus was a very able man in which he is coordinated and summarized the lives of the three great souls. At this stage, I also would like to say how much little I have known of Pandit Sam. In 1952, in April, my elder sister had to be married to a staunch, well-to-do Puranic person from a Puranic family, and my father had a problem in getting a pandit. It so happened he and Pandit Sam were friends, and he brought him to do the wedding, and it was very well done, to the satisfaction of both sides. Last year, when Pandit Sam had to raise dark hair, our secretary Bhai Kapil called me at my office and asked me to chair the program the first night. I told him, how can I do that when I really don't know the man personally? He said, you come and let me introduce you to the man, and then you will know. I have confidence in you, Bhai Sahib. And as soon as I was introduced to him, the spirit from the man, the force from his body, from his inner self, has inspired me how much well I can do my job. I say special thanks to all those members who have come to clean up the church, who have made refreshments to provide for today, and I say thanks to all of you. I wish to extend the Samaj special thanks to the relatives and close friends of Pandit Sama Prasad to make that effort to come today and to join with us in saying how much good that person we have lost. A man who, as it has been said by some great authors of Swami Dayanand, can go for him. They said that Swami Dayanand was a man with God in his soul, and who has utilized the knowledge in his brains and the power of his hands to yield a life to liberate the people of India. So Pandit Chandra Sama Prasad was a man with God in his soul, who have utilized the knowledge that he has gained from time to time and used the power and strength of his physical body to liberate all those persons with whom he has a cause to be associated from time to time. I say thanks once again to all of you, and I quote with a little poem or a saying what you say: the heights of great men reached in Kent were not attained by sudden flights. They, while their lazier friends slept, toiled all through the night. I thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we stand up and sing the Arti, I just remember somebody passed this on to me, and it's history in the making that New York Newsday has recognized the politics of Guyana. I'm not promoting any individual, but it was dated Thursday, October 1st, Newsday edition. Blair, who would be president of Guyana in it, it's showing a picture of Dr. Leslie Ramsamy. It could have been anybody else, but to me, it's looked like Guyanese is coming in the handlight of politics, and even the papers in America is recognizing our struggle. Thank you very much. Shall we all stand and sing the Arti?